At SteelSeries, we make the headsets, mice, and keyboards that the world's best gamers win the most with. And we've been doing it since way back. It's up to you how far you go, but whatever you do, go for glory.
Final week of Summer Split. Welcome to NLC. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Week 7, day 1. 3 slots are filled in for playoffs, but 1 still remains today. We might find out who's going to take it, or maybe it will be tomorrow, the last possible day. So on the desk with me, let's start the show. The man with the great taste in movies, somehow Duckling, and Ruma Dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Just for the reference as well, Green Room Talk was about our favourite movies. I gave mine. It's Ratatouille. Everybody gave a, yep, good movie. Nobody disagreed.
Nobody.
So that's my stake in the game.
I still believe, yeah.
Go on.
I still believe Duckling was watching a list and saying like old movie names to be like part of the cool gang. I dig Ratatouille.
Just to clear it up, right? I think Ratatouille is an absolutely amazing. But I want to say my favorite movie, it is Good Will Hunting. I didn't see it before the start of this year, but I watched it like 3 times since, and I think it's a very good movie. Genuinely a masterpiece, just like I think Ratatouille is. But the fact that just because I'm 20, I'm not supposed to be able to watch that movie, according to Ashram, absolutely shambolic.
No, I'm actually proud you turned down TikTok and you're actually watching cool things. Hey, welcome. So I would like to welcome as well the concerts for today. The man with the best cam on the show, Foxdrop and Hipray.
Do you really think that's, Archer, mate?
Yeah.
Just because yours is a little, doesn't really mean a lot.
What do you mean
if someone like Jake has said my cam is nice, then it means a bit more, but...
It is nice, to be fair. But we got the same camera. Like, our quality is brilliant. It's just this Temu camera presenter we got, like, host running the show.
Yeah, professional webcam from wish.com. Love that, Archer.
I'm glad we're following the script when I had like proper bully when I tossed it to you. Thank you. It's actually there if you look at it. I'm just saying. My webcam. So let's toss it back to the desk. Hey, I got 3 more pixels now because it's a closer. Yeah,
that's crazy. I think was it supposed to be 4K? Your camera. All I want to say is I only see 4 pixels, to be honest.
Yeah, there's 4 in the box, but apparently the K has been forgotten. I don't know. Probably needed to pay more. I don't know if there's like a.
Oh my god! What happened? Oh my god! The comedic timing of the camera.
Kill me. Oh, production! I was about to slap the camera. That was lovely. Dude, you disappeared in terms of audio. Let me boost you. Okay, I got you. Welcome to the desk, and let's talk about what we have for today. If you want to be part of the Fantasy League, this is the last opportunity. This is the last week as well. Join in as fast as possible and make up your team so you can win one of these if you're at the top of the ladder. Duckling, are you at the top of the ladder?
I'm just checking. I'm number 18. That is not bad, considering we have...
Not bad.
Like, the average amount of points is 538. I have 661. I am 50 points behind the leader, so hopefully I can make a comeback. But sadly, the star of the league, Katurkan, I don't have him on my team. I have Bad Hulk instead.
Hey, you have more points than I have pixels, so that's good. I don't know. But if you want to understand like who's the top dog of the Fantasy League, might as well show you the top 5 players from the previous one. Would you look at this?
Oh wow, no way. Crazy.
Isn't
The
it?
team who's winning the league are also all the best picks for fantasy.
But for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, Ruddy have been at the top. Oh, okay, now you're louder, okay. There you go.
He's back.
Whoa, welcome back, dude.
Hi everybody, I fixed it. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, but...
Okay, checking my health. So now if you join the Fantasy League, you know where to put your points in. Not like Duckling. With that in mind, I would like to show you the standings as we are right now. You're doing really good, just like Ruddy. Ruddy are one step away from securing first place in the league. If they win today, they'll be able to secure that one. NORD, DMG, and Venom Crest are tied up for second place, but keep in mind that NORD and DMG are already locked in for playoffs. Venom Crest needs to win another game. LLS in 5th place, Verdant on the bottom alongside Natives and Blue Whites. And this is not only looking at playoffs, but also looking at relegation. So the bottom 2 teams need to step up. But Blue Whites have that victory. Yes, they do. But I think they're already locked in for relegations, unless they win 2 games. But I think they're already locked in as well.
I think worth mentioning for Blue Whites, right? Coming in only in the summer split, they have less time to get the championship points that would have eventually kept them out. So obviously, backs against the wall from the beginning. Remember, they weren't really supposed to be here. I think they've put up a valiant effort, and I mean, let's see if they regain their spot. Remember, they did win NLC Division 2 last split, so they should definitely be able to compete with those teams.
Yeah, I think that the championship points part is definitely tricky. We'll need to see, obviously, where Verdant and Natives end up falling in that mix. If they had a good spring, it may well land on maybe a DMG still, having had a really awkward first split. That they're probably not going to be in relegations, but like those types of high seeds for for summer versus low seeding for spring. We'll wait and see how those end up playing out. But that's for tomorrow's, I think, to really decipher.
Just to shortly touch on that, I do want to say at the moment it is Blue Whites and Natives who will be going to legations. Natives, though, despite not having playoffs to play for, like finishing 5th or maybe even 6th, like those results will be massive in getting those last bit of championship points because they finished 7th. Last split with DMG in 8th, so like they need to get some championship points here. So a 6th place could potentially save them and send someone like Lightside potentially down to relegation. So they've still got everything to play for in terms of keeping that hope of staying in the league up alive.
So it's not only about playoffs, it's also about the teams that will be able to keep their spot. It's interesting that you look into Lightside and they might get to playoffs or they can actually go down. This is a complicated matter for them as we're approaching the last few days of the league. But we want to show you the schedule for today to understand who are we going to be watching. It's going to be Blue Whites versus NORD up to open the appetite. Verdant versus Lightside will follow up. Ruddy versus DMG, and to finish it up, Natives versus Venom Crest. It's important that Natives won't be able to get into playoffs, but they might ruin the hopes and dreams of some people. But we'll talk about that further on. I just want to show you the menu. That's like the importance of the menu. We'll have a proper topic for that one. But now talking about important stuff, Duckling and Redude. Let's look into predictions.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I mean...
And my tried and true strategy of 5-1ing has gone pretty well. I think I've netted like 8 points most days just because I always cash in on the 5s. You always have to go for the big predict, and then, the games that you're not sure on, just 1 point them. That's my strategy so far.
That's now leading into my question here, Rudu, because then why have you put 5 points on the Ruddy DMG? I thought that was a hard game to predict. I can definitely understand that Ruddy are favorites, but 5 points is a big ask, I would say, considering you have Venom Crest versus Natives, who on paper is way more Venom Crest favored.
Yeah, I'm just a big Nata fan. I'm going to be honest. I think if I ever bet against Nata again...
I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Betting against Nata is just not the move, unfortunately. And Namex, as much as I really wanted him to come in and be a monster this split, I just see Ruddy bot lane and I pick 5 points.
And I agree with you, Duckling. Wasn't this day really hard to predict as well? I looked into the games and obviously I'm like, hey, Nords will probably win, like 90% sure, right? And I started looking into the other games. I'm like, in every single game, there's an opportunity for the other team to take it. The way the league is right now, I do believe any team can take it today, especially. I know it would be like a big upset, Natives versus Venom Crest, but Foxdrop is on something. But the idea is that you don't know. Like, I was really confused doing predictions. I don't know if you folks agree with me.
But I very much agree. And what I want to add about that last game, as we just talked about, right? Natives still have everything to play for in terms of survival, so they won't go down without a fight. And I can definitely see why Foxdrop have put at some points on them. 5 is very bold still.
Foxdrop needs big swings, right? We have to remember what state in there. He's like, Lil Bro's struggling on the prediction, so he's got to go for these big swings. He either ends up going more into the negatives or catching up with all of us. So these are the right moves to go for.
I totally agree.
There we go.
Yeah,
this is what we need.
Man.
He's so 48 points behind 8th place. Big swings is not the word for it. He needs to hit playoffs hard as well.
I hate playoffs, man. I hate them in terms of predictions. I'm doing so good now, I'll probably screw up in playoffs. I'm not saying I love playoff in terms of the hype.
The way you
but the thing
phrased
is,
it was
the phrasing was absolutely horrible, just like Foxtrot's performance in prediction the split. But the main point is, though, with double points being given out for the good days and the bad days, and in general, man, I feel like I'm doing good so far. I could have a few bad days in playoffs, and now I'm completely screwed.
Hey, I would like you all to like chill on Foxtrot, because like he's doing his best, but he told me at the beginning of the split that he was going to take predictions from a side, the same side I bought my webcam, so hey, it is what it is. We talked about the remaining spots on playoffs. And playoffs have been interesting because everybody kept saying, "Hey, Ready are not at the same level as they were before. They're still making some mistakes." But Root Dude, they've been shining constantly. Everybody keeps taking swings versus Ready, but they haven't missed.
No, and I think that their ceiling isn't. They see their ceiling. I know this much for sure, that they're the best team in the NLC. That's their standpoint, and I think that their view is much more towards EMEA Masters. I think that Jake, who's the owner, obviously has been very vocal about what the goal of Ruddy as an organisation is. It's to try and get players promoted into your LFLs, your LVPs, to try and get them spots for LEC later down the line. And when you can have a good showing at EMEA Masters, that's the type of thing that teams and players are going to be looking at to sort of start scouting out with that. I think that with Kit Hurricane, the way their jungler has been playing, he's been my shining spot for Ruddy. We were talking about this in the green room, but that Nato has been incredibly consistent, and that Kit Hurricane has been the potentially best point of the squad for making leads happen in the game. I think that when you've got a jungler who is doing so well, that's the goal of any sort of organization. And looking at their second half wins, this is a graphic that I wanted us to have up for this show specifically. They actually haven't lost yet, and the reason I put 5 points on them in my predictions is I see this second half just being complete sweep for Ruddy.
Yeah. I mean, they have been on fire. You're making a very good point for them there. Still, though, a few hard games to go. This will be the true test, I would say, playing against the other two top teams in our league, in DMG and NORD. So if they finish this split undefeated in the second half, they are going to be clear-cut favorites to win the whole tournament, I'll say.
I'll bring this up. When we look into others leagues, specifically LEC, and you look into a team that makes a lot of mistakes but keeps first place, I might recall like G2. Everybody loves G2. And they really trolly as well. They have fun and in the game. But why is it when it's Ruddy, everybody's like, but they make a lot of mistakes. They'll probably fumble. But there you go. I think Ruddy right now are the G2 of NLC.
They bought a lot of good power, or like willpower, with me from Spring as well, right? Like they would, every time you'd write them off, they'd somehow win, and then they made playoffs, and then they made EMEA Masters, right? And that has now led to them being the arguably so far best team of the split. We have to wait and see how this last weekend plays out. I think that Duckman makes a very valid point that like they've got the two most difficult opponents coming up this week. If they go into the playoffs as defeatless in this second half, sure, we can just go ahead and say they're the strongest team going in. But for the most part, it's definitely been a good parallel to draw for Arsharam, right? That they have been a little bit trolly, but equally, when it matters most, they'll just turn it on and they'll just win a fight.
That's the thing. Like, even in games where they're getting behind, they're like, hey, you know what? Calm down, power on, and they just pull it through. It's really interesting to see Ruddy. But then the question arises, if they actually meet a different team that goes into the same level as them, will they be able to troll? Will they fumble? Are they good to play from behind? Like that, those are a lot of questions we have for Ruddy, but they also have one victory before they can secure that first spot for NLC. But that also depends on NORD. But we're talking about the teams that already secured Duckling. But what about that team that still wants to secure their position in the playoffs?
Yeah,
who is it?
It is Venom Crest and Lundqvist Lightside fighting for the remaining spot. We have a very nice graphic to illustrate the situation. If you are a Venom Crest enjoyer, your week is very simple. You either beat natives or you beat Lightside. One of those things happens, you're through. If you are a Lightside enjoyer, you need to win versus Verdant. You need to win versus Venom Crest, and then you need natives, DMG, NORD to win their games. Like, you need everything to unfold in your favor to make it to playoffs, which is obviously not that likely, but the hope is still there. And starting off, obviously, winning a game today, and then looking forward to the Natives game and hoping that they take down Venomcrest.
That's the thing. Tell me, Rudid. Yeah.
The important part about this graphic as well is that Venomcrest play light side tomorrow, right? Like there's the world where they do all of the hard work, and let's say, for example, the parameters are still in place for Venomcrest to make it, or for Lightside rather, to make it into playoffs come tomorrow. They could well beat Venomcrest. They could well beat Venomcrest. Excuse me, getting fumbled. But then have a game afterwards just not quite go their way, and all of a sudden all that hard work, you know, it becomes undone. Verdant and DMG both playing games after them could just stump them at the final hurdle, and even if they win that game tomorrow, it could have been the beautiful poetic road, but not quite make it happen.
When you have this much pressure on the players, it could affect their gameplay, and that's why we had the Within the Scope this week. For those of you who haven't keep track of it, you can go on Twitter, social media, and you can watch those interviews with the players. We had the opportunity to talk with Sumi to understand what his mindset is, and everybody's chill in light side. Like, hey, we did our best. We had some issues. Apparently, they had like 4 weeks of vacation, but like 1 week one player, another week another player, so they couldn't scrim properly because there was always a player in vacations, and those games got lost because they couldn't practice. And he stated, like, we did our best, and it's no longer within our reach. We just have to do what's capable and what's possible. And if we win, we win. If we don't, we got close to it. And that's a good view to have. But I also love the graphic, like Duckling, the idea if Venomcrest wins one game, we're good. On the other side, they have to cook, they have to build a house, they have to wash the laundry, they have to win games, they have to do so much, and still they might not be able to do it. Tell me that.
And to make it all even simpler, right? If you're a Venomcrest fan, then you first look to the Lightside game, and if Lightside lose, you're also in playoffs. Like, it is that simple. You either need Lightside to just lose a game or win your game today. That's all you need to be in top 4. And then after that, right, you can look up the table and say maybe we can fight for that top 2 spot, because at the moment you are sitting at the same score as DMG and NORD. So first of all, obviously, get the top 4 secured, get EMEA Master spot, but then getting top 2 is the main goal, because getting that upper bracket, the extra life in playoffs, the simpler route into the finals and into the main stage of the EMEA Masters is so crucial, especially considering the last chance qualifier this EMEA Masters. Like, if any of our teams make it through that, I will be severely impressed, because it's 32 teams and 4 spots. It is absolutely bonkers.
It is, because the competition is way bigger as well. Not only get 4 slots to go into EMEA Master, but all the other regions get 4 slots as well. So, hey, they all wanted 4 seeds, and now they have the 4 seeds. Rudud, is this a blessing? Is this a curse for the NLC?
It's definitely a blessing. I think any form of international competition is always going to be a benefit. You get a larger sample of what your team's capable of. You get better judgments of where you fall in the ERL pecking order. Obviously, when NLC lost its accreditation, we sort of slightly dropped down that a little bit. But the fact that we now get to go into EMEA Masters, even if it's only into the play-ins with a good handful of teams, and get to see what our strength is relative to the rest of the regions, it keeps us nice and aware of where we're standing and helps us focus on what we need to do to improve for the future.
Duckling, I'm gonna this will be the last part we talk about this topic, the EMEAs. What is it for you? Because I know you were really happy when you saw the 4 seeds, but then you have to look into consideration, like LFL with 4 seeds, LVP, Prime League, all those with 4 seeds, and you start wondering,
the tournament format is very different, right? Still yet to fully wrap my head around it, but they're changing everything up here. I think the tournament will be exciting. It will be fast-paced. What I really like is that every single ERL now has a space or a spot guaranteed in the main stage, which is really fun to see. Although I know 99% of the time, let's just say the Benelux, they'll get smashed by the LFL. But I remember casting a best of 3 with the Benelux team against the NFL, and it was still very, very exciting, because when the hope was there, all of a sudden, like this underdog versus David versus Goliath story, you could say, I want to see those. And when I want to see the different ERLs play, I don't just want to see the best League of Legends. I don't want to see LVP versus LFL all the time. I want to see these different regions and the different styles clash. And even if one region is significantly better than the other, I just want to see competition between the regions. And that's what this new format is bringing us. I'm very excited.
Extremely spicy, also with the idea they're bringing in other regions, like for the Arabic region, for instance, the GKs, like
they've been good. They've been very good.
So keep that in mind. Those are some extremely powerful teams. So keep in mind as we jump into EMEA Masters. But now we need to jump first game of the day is going to be NORD versus Blue Whites. And on record, on paper, this should be an extremely one-sided match. But is it though? Because Blue Whites are showing something different towards the end of the split. And they're like, hey, we're not going to lose anything more. 8 out of 80, we just need to go out there.
Yeah, I think that for NORD, obviously, they still have that top 2 buy that Duckling was talking about. Same thing for Venom Crest. They're going to be coming in looking to just smash. They need to set themselves up for a fairly easy game, as is expected. Blue Whites, obviously, any form of championship points that they can claim is going to be useful to them. And maybe if they can make Natives' life a little bit harder, they can, put a bit of pressure on them for future games. But all intents and purposes, NORD should just be taking this game.
It's just really correct, right? The analysis here should be pretty simple. It is NORD are heavy favorites. They've still got things to play for. Blue Whites, they're set. They are going into the relegation. There is no way around it. They've only been here for one split. Not enough time to gather championship points. It's a tough situation they find themselves in. I've been impressed with how they've improved throughout the split and the life that they have managed to show, considering the rough circumstances of their arrival in the league. And I have hope that they will stay up for next year. But yeah, NORD should take this. I think Hunt has grown well into the split, while XSD is still the solid carry. Remember, they still have Neil in the top lane, who I don't think I've had a standout split by any means, but he's still a quality player. NORD have really fell into a place after the substitution of Alex. They look more consistent, more on the same page. I think everyone is starting to shine on that roster, and I think they're scary going into playoffs.
Yeah, I think the other important part as well for Blue Whites is they have swapped out their support. So Egets is not playing for this week.
Yep.
We've got, is it Pup? I'm going to just go with
I think it's
for
Pup.
their support. Yeah, playing at support. So even just a little change like that, good to see that going into their promotion relegation series, they're testing out a new thing in the bot lane and seeing what that can give them. It's definitely a gauntlet of fire. Ecstasy Romeo is definitely a challenging bot lane to play up against.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try and be the best, you're going to have to play versus some of the best as well. So it's a good challenge for this new duo in the bot lane for Blue Whites.
There you go. We're going to champion select. My only hope right now is to get that Rengar open. NORD, don't do it. We need to see the cat. We've talked about it. Everybody is aware that Blue Whites play every single
Right in the
time,
monologue as well.
Seriously.
Destroyed that.
Could have saved it for the third ban, maybe.
It all starts with success. I know. So we got in the bans out there, and now Yone is out of the table as well. Let's see what NORD is going to remove as well from the table. They already got the ringer out, so I don't know if that Iron technology is going to show up or not. Costum, 2 games to end the split. You've been talking about that Cassidy non-stop. Is it time?
Could well be. It's one of those picks. I think it's actually a red side champion. You have to see literally everything you're playing up against to know if you can take it, unfortunately, because there's just, you need to know the mid matchup, which is one part of it, but then also if there's just too much CC, sometimes you just don't want to play Kassadin either. We'll have to wait and see though, because you need some sort of power in the early game as well. Very varied in the bans from Blue Whites though.
Yeah, the Leona ban, it makes sense. Obviously, we know Romeo very good on these engaged supports. What I do want to say though, I've been really impressed recently with Hunt's form. As I mentioned, the Corgi ban now trims that put a little bit, but in particular, his Tristana has been incredible to watch, to be honest. Able to find the solo kill, snowball his lead from the laning phase, and lead that into a general lead for the rest of the team. So if Blue Whites don't lock it in here, I think NORD should take it as a red one, to be honest. I don't care what he goes up against. I think he'll be able to make it work. The misfortune, though, has risen in priority recently. We've seen in the Equal Esports Cup as well, just this weekend, have pretty good success in teamfight compositions, and that might just be what Blue Whites are going for here, as now it's on to NORD. The hover of the Rumble could definitely see Needle lock that in.
Yeah, I mean, Rumble's been a power pick throughout the entire split, right? Like, it's just so strong, even if we end up seeing nerfs come through, even when they come through, right? It's just, it was so ridiculously OP to begin
there it
with.
is. That's exactly what I wanted.
The nerfs coming through don't mean anything, and it just brings it back down to a regular level of OP. Obviously, it didn't get locked in just yet, and Tristana, well, now with Corki banned, it makes a lot of sense. You can't do the Trist Corki trade in the mid lane, and then it gives Blue Whites a little bit of something to think about.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they'll answer this with, or how they'll play around it, because he has been unstoppable on this Tristana pick, so letting it go through the first ban phase was surprising to me, I will say, over something like the Yone, who, yes, it's a champion that Hunt likes to play. I still think Tristana is just his strongest pick at the moment. Regardless, though, it is now on to Blue Whites to see what they respond with the brand pretty instantaneously locked in there, and looking to secure that bot lane duo. The 2v2, or the 2 champions from Blue Whites down there, will be that real misfortune.
So you're giving away
Really
the
nice.
Nautilus for Nords. Like, that has to be a pick for Romeo.
Surely.
If that gets locked in, it makes perfect sense. Can also get banned away, but that's the bot lane 2v2 for blue whites that I think you have to take. Rel, Misfortune, just as a duo, synergizes really well. The Magnet Storm obviously keeping people in the bullet time. And then you've got nice CC setup as well for the brands if you get a lot of people locked inside with the Pyroclasm. It's a great team fight setup for blue whites. All told, they've got really solid team fight back and forth, and this also opens up for Costum, for Veluxa to play some tank and a mid lane AD pick. You don't really typically see the mage pairing with Brand in the jungle just because you don't want to make a super magic damage focused profile composition. So we'll wait and see what blue whites round out with in that back half, but some semblance of follow-up engage on the Rel might be nice, or something to make the Rel's life easier, and then just an AD mid to challenge this Tristana.
Yeah, interesting to see this AD carry pool be trimmed this heavily. I mean, Ecstasy obviously has had a tremendous split, especially in the beginning. I thought he was the backbone of many of NORD victories, being able to carry those team fights on, in particular, the Jinx, the NORD ban, to trim Veluxa's pool just a little bit more. I still see, obviously, some standard things like the Ornn is open if that's what he wants to go for and just play the tank for the team. Regardless, though, blue-white still likely to trim out the AD carry pool.
And they keep pushing towards that. Hey, we want to team fight. We want to get that massive wombo combo. You have such a big power with the brand Misfortune and then the Rel to get everybody up. So what other mid laner or even top laner to allow that to happen will Blue White's bring? I don't know if you can play as a split push versus Nord. The Nautilus is a staple one for Romeo. So that is also good in team fights. And then they can hide away the top lane or even what's going to follow that team. Because there's a lot of flex on that.
Yeah, you know, you can take this Tristana down to the bot side, but that might be difficult versus the Misfortune.
Yeah.
Whether or not we see Ecstasy pull out, maybe just another Zeri pick, honestly. It seems like that could very easily be on the cards, give another hyper carry to the squad, but this could be a Yone quite easily for Costum as well. Something that you mentioned that we've seen a lot of from Hunt, but any form of AD in the mid lane is what we're sort of anticipating coming through, and it helps out with that team fight. But if they layer this little bit of poke now, gives an extra layer of their composition, something extra that they were missing. Doesn't quite fit into the style of team fighting, but Kai'Sa can go all in with the composition as well. It's worth remembering the Killer Instinct. You can join a fight quite easily.
Yeah. Let's see how this pans out. I would assume it would be the Kai'Sa mid lane instead. The Ornn, as I mentioned before, open. Very reasonable choice, especially when you've just locked in more damage, right? You want to add some more tank and more engage as well. The Ornn obviously great at setting up or maybe even disengaging if that is what needs to happen. It's now on to Ecstasy. Something like the Jinx is still open, but isn't as preferred anymore. Caitlyn over here. There's a lot of different opportunities. Yes, the pool has been trimmed a little bit, but he's got pretty free range here to choose whatever he pleases.
One of the things about playing against a Misfortune as well is how powerful she becomes when we get to one item. The one item spike for an MF is genuinely quite huge. Now Ecstasy with that Jhin lock-in looks to be just pivoting his theories entirely, and he's just playing that supportive style, right? You're looking for set up with your ulti, set up with your W, and then Hunt to be the main carry. Nil has had standout Rumble performances time and time again, but team fight for team fight on both sides. Element of split push with the Tristana there.
Costum pulling the MEF in the mid lane, apparently. Maybe going for that AP burn if he wants to be that,
surely
that shady business. Why surely? Why? Obviously, you could get the Kai'Sa in the mid lane, get that AP, or even like with the waves pushing. Costum can go AD and just bully Tristana, try to get that bully. Maybe you can get an AP. It's Costum, you know.
I'm thinking the Misfortune will likely be the AD here, right? Because in the end, if they feel like they need more AP damage, it's ways for the Kai'Sa to transition into a mixed damage build and in the end help out the brand in that sense. Also, you have to remember the tanks here. Their base damage is AP, and that will obviously add on just a little bit on the brand. So strong at the moment, I feel like if he gets ahead early on, or at the very least he's just on pace for the game, like in a big 5v5 team fight, he'll be able to do plenty of AP damage to suffice. So I would expect this Misfortune to be AD. I'm excited to see if he goes for the first track to try and poke Hunt out in the lane, to see in particular how this matchup is going to play out, because I'm going to be honest, it's the first time I've seen Misfortune versus Tristana in the mid lane.
So take away the names of the teams, and who do you think is going to win? Blue or red? Forget about the names.
Yeah. I do still like red side quite significantly. My problem is that we don't have MF Rel in the same lane. That level 6 spike is not juicy if they're not in the same lane.
Yeah, I think Custom will need to be careful in the mid lane. The Maokai obviously great at ganking point and click CC. If that flash is down, needs to really pay respects to the potential gank. So excited to see if they can snowball a hunt. But I will say even without the nameplates, I would prefer NORD here.
Well, it's agreement on the desk at least. Let's see what the casters have to say here, Brain. And Fox, do you have any sort of topic about foxes? Do you know any sort of interesting thing about foxes? Just wondering.
Do you?
The thing that comes to mind is not something I can repeat here on broadcast. When they sound like they're screaming.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone's heard that one. Everyone's been lying awake at night while a fox is screaming outside. League of Legends. So let's talk a little bit about the drafts. Everyone's kind of in favor of blue whites. Sorry, NORD, not blue whites. NORD. I think we pretty much agreed on that. There's a few spicy things I guess blue whites could do. There's a bit of power there. I guess we'll just have to find out because we are ready to go into this game. And here we are. Onto the ref for our first game of our final week of the NLC. My eyes this game very much on Romeo. He has been playing to his namesake a lot, Romeoing around the map, making a lot of plays happening. Nautilus, a very staple champion for this playstyle for him as well. So I do expect Romeo to probably move towards the bottom side, towards the mid, and try and set Hunt up, especially when you're playing into a Misfortune mid, because they're going to be hyper immobile and very susceptible to getting caught out by this Nautilus.
Oh, speaking of getting caught out, Quest. Oh, he's cool. It almost happened there. Yeah, Romeo's always moving around the map, this man. Like, he just has constant pressure. Sometimes it's NORD's downfall in the sense that he's, like, over-aggressive. But to be perfectly honest, like, more often than not, it is a huge boon to his team. Like, he is fantastic. It's so difficult to play versus. And you're completely right. Low mobility or no mobility mid lane, apart from the fact that she can strut her stuff and move quickly, like, that's very difficult to avoid the kind of roams and engages from Nautilus plus Tristana. So yeah, this more Misfortune mid, I was surprised. I thought for sure this would be Kai'Sa mid, maybe that more of an AP focused build, which Kai'Sa can do. I don't think it's great this game when you're playing versus like Maokai, Nautilus, I guess even Rumble to an extent, who can tank those Prey Seekers from Kai'Sa, because she's quite a poke heavy build when she goes AP. It's not really a great game to play poke into. But we're getting a lot of scraps down bot. Romeo could be in trouble.
Yeah, Romeo's getting flashed onto. One more auto from MKR, and he secures the kill. Purple, Poop even, sorry, on the run. Didn't even notice that we have, is it Puppet? I'm going to call him Poop.
Poop. Oh, God.
I think
of all things to default to, you probably shouldn't call him that. But,
Tell me
that's
not
Poop right now. It's a good engage.
That was a beautiful engage.
That was nice. I did kind of set Romeo up for that, didn't I? Saying sometimes he's a bit over aggressive. He hooks in and just gets obliterated. It's the first blood over to MKR. I love MKR. I think he's been a shining spot for Blue White. He's been their best player, just overall most consistent player, and really does compete with everyone else here on the NLC, which is fantastic, especially for a team that is 1-11 so far. So getting him a first kill, early kill, good stuff.
Very, very nice. Now heading up towards the top side. No surprises to see the Rumble has pressure in lane versus the Ornn. But we were looking at the chance that there was a hover of a Cassante, and I was saying at the time I'm very glad that they didn't lock in the Cassante on the top side, because I mean, Cassante has pretty much a bunch of winning matchups. There's very, very few bad matchups for them. I do think into Rumble is one of those rough ones, and Ornn just has to hit 6. That's their job. Like, as long as he doesn't, like, turbo feed, which I don't expect he will, his job is just to hit 6 in a team fight, and that could be the difference maker. That gives MKR the opportunity to jump wherever he wants. Romeo, Hex flashing over the wall. This is what we were talking... Don't worry. Level 2 might be the little over-eager.
Yeah, but that's just it, isn't it? You just always have to be aware of Romeo and what he's up to, even if he's not quite actually making the plays. His threat of making them is always scary. Veluxa, speaking of scary, it's a tough lane. It is a tough one. You mentioned, you know, you're glad the Swarm's been slapped down instead of the Cassante, and I do think Blue Whites as a team perform best when Veluxa is kind of on those more teamfight duty champions and doesn't have to do too much in the lane phases. Oh my goodness, that is an aggressive flash from Quest. That's always going to be a tough one versus Tristana, but woof. Yeah, okay.
It was a flash for nothing as well, is the worst thing about that. Looks like Quest is now potentially setting something up on the bottom side. It's been very hard to do so, although Romeo does find himself a hook onto Poop. Poop takes a little bit of damage on the way out. I don't know their name. I was not prepared for Poop playing today, so he is now Poop for me. As they're jumping in again, everybody, the W hits and Poop secures the kill. Ecstasy, he's got the blaze on. MKR secures the kill. Blue Whites 3-0 up at 5 minutes. I don't know.
Not bad.
This
not
is
bad at all.
They got the fire under them now.
2 kills from MKR as well, so important gold goes where it's needed. And this is the thing with Blue Whites, like we've said so many times in like analyst desk times and even during games as well. It's like, yeah, Blue Whites are so much better than their record. Like they'll win a game before the end of the split. Obviously they did pick up that win earlier on. And you know, because they show us things like this, you know, they actually have quite good early games a lot of the times, and sometimes even they never just go down whimpering. They always bring the fight back to their opponents, and they always look for opportunities to get back in. They find picks. Like they're they don't just roll over and die, which is a sign that this is, as a team, like there's always chance for them. Like there's always a place that they can make. Unfortunately, sometimes though, they do just get a little bit out macroed, and I would say here NORD is probably our best macro team in the NLC. And here comes Hunt in a bit of trouble.
That's a big hook.
It's a good Ornal.
Yeah, big hook from Romeo. Good Ornal, but ultimately Hunt. No teleport, no flash. Has to play very safe now. Romeo's just going to catch this wave and make sure that Hunt can get what he can off this. And Custom having the Vamp Scepter is going to be pretty big for them.
I want to see what this Misfortune itemizes into. If press the attack, it could be anything really at this point. The thing is, basically, is it going to be like a Kraken style build, or are we going something kind of crazy, maybe something a bit more lethality focused, and she wants to kind of like burst and chunk and poke a little bit as well?
Yeah, what
to be honest, I don't know, because it's Misfortune. It's Misfortune mid. What does she do? It's easy to say when you can look at bot matchups and, you know, like support synergies and stuff like that, but I'm really not too sure.
Very interesting. I'm curious what the Vamp's going to build into.
Could be Bloodthirster. It's quite common. So the thing with Misfortune as well, with Bloodthirster, it's quite a nice little interaction, because with Bloodthirster you get that shield, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you have overheal in your runes, that contributes to the shield too. And if you're hit as Misfortune and the shield like tanks the hit, then it doesn't knock off your strut. I'm fairly certain that's the reason why Misfortune has been rushing Bloodthirster now. So kind of standard stuff. That's a good combo.
That was a beautiful little equalizer by Nilly. They knew exactly where they were going, and that's going to be Norton's first on the board. Got himself those 3 grubbers as well. So this is kind of harking back to what you were talking about, where NORD are the macro team. Even though, you know, they were taking L's all over the bot lane, the rest of the team step up to the plate. They secure themselves the grubs. They get a kill top. And ultimately, the gold lead isn't that big yet. It's been somewhat negated by the plays of NORD. But we are seeing an invade going in onto this blue buff. So Yoka, unfortunately, is going to struggle a little bit and fall down a little bit more.
Smart stuff by Blue White. It's this kind of thing I was talking about, how they don't just kind of like roll over and die. Like these are smart plays, right? These are good plays. Get these advantages. Joker doesn't really have anything to do about it, right? Like he's now just coming out of spawn. He's not retaliating and going for his own jungle invade with his team. So this should just be like a net positive for Blue Whites here. As here comes the gang with Quest.
Yeah, Romeo is able to queue onto the wall and break away. Has to burn the flash though. Poupette. A little bit of damage put into them. I found out it was Poupette, and if it's not Poupette, then Middlecott has trolled me. I'm just making it completely clear that it's not my fault.
Poupette.
Poupette.
It makes sense. That sounds a bit more Scandinavian, right?
Yes.
So, fair play. We can call him Poupette for now. Although I was very much
I'm
enjoying
down. I'm down to
talking
call him
about-
Poop. If, like,
I just don't think we should, to be perfectly honest with you. But it would
well,
be slightly
hold
more
on. We'll see how the
entertaining.
play goes, depending on how
Okay.
good they are.
Twitch chat usually has like really nice, like claps and craps, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what we can do. I mean,
We've
I
got
think we can
Poupée
know
or
what this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what his good name will be, but I think we've got his bad play name all sorted. So that's all good. But so far, only good plays here for the substitutes supports on this rel. I think honestly, just kind of hark back to the draft a little bit. I really liked this rel pick as well, because NORD, they slammed in the Rumble right as the second pick, and we all know Rumble rel is an insane combo. But because Blue Whites also had their own kind of like AoE strong ultimate type thing in Misfortune, it made a lot of sense, to take rel to combo with Misfortune's bullet time and deny it from Rumble. So it makes sense in the draft. Not only it makes sense for reasons that we haven't really seen yet in the game, right? And it's still doing well already.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, right? So it's a really good positive here for Blue Whites.
Well, it looks like Blue Eyes are just doing a very good job of rotating around together. You've got this jungle mid synergy, jungle support synergy from Blue Whites that honestly been quite impressive to play into. I mean, them just being in this area means Ecstasy has to step away and just give up loads of tower plates and experience on the wave. And somewhat that's down to because Romeo has been rotating so much. Now, there is a cost that's coming for this. They were playing towards the other side of the map, so NORD are able to secure themselves the 6 Void Grubs for themselves. So you got to kill off
that's
the
a lot of
Hunt.
grubs.
He will take a tower very fast.
Yes, exactly. This is the thing, right? What's the value of that 6 grub stack right here? Because you got Tristana, who's so good at split pushing and taking down turrets, and now with 6 grubs, it's people don't respect how much 6 grubs gives you. Like, you do 1 auto attack onto a turret to activate the grubs, and it's like easily 400 or 500 damage to that turret just from the grubs. It's really insane stuff. And when you consider the difference, the gap in this top lane right now with Nile, look at that, 50 CS over on his lane opponent here. Hold that door as Hunt's jumped in, Costum's in trouble.
That was
He's done.
That was pretty tight actually, but Hunt was able to get the kill. And the problem is like no one's playing towards poor Ecstasy. He is struggling right now.
Yeah, but he's Jin. I feel like this is what's smart about this Jin pick here. They were hovering some different types of champions, but Jin, he can be a bit more of a supporty facilitator style ADC because he's got his curtain call, he's got some utility, right? So he doesn't necessarily need to be the main character. And I think that's a real benefit to his team because you've seen what NORD's done, right? They played more towards topside, more towards Nile, who's absolutely popping off right now. Hunt clearly is happy to fill the shoes of the ADC. He just got his own solo kill. So I think it's smart. We're going to get a big fight here.
Yeah, they're throwing the Twisted Advance down. They are just going to make sure that Poop takes that. But not really much more to come of it off the back of it. Nilly is here. Hook goes down, comes in. Quest does get caught. The curtain call has been pulled down. And Quest is going to lose his life. Does secure himself and the team in the tower, though. The dragon, mind you. MKR finishes himself up a kill. Now in comes Yornhorn onto Nilly. Nilly burning down. They secure 1. That's going to be Poop who gets that kill. Ecstasy does fire back and gets himself in response 1 as Veluxia keeps the pressure up. Ultimately, Blue Whites win out on that play.
Yeah, it was a 2 for 2 in the end for kills because Quest died really early there. But they did get the dragon. However, of course, what you're seeing now on your screen is the alternative. It's the answer because it was a 4v5 in favor of Blue White, so they should come out on top, and they did get dragon. But the fact that it was only 2 for 2 in kills plus losing that top turret, all in all, I don't think that's a terrible play for NORD either. I think a lot of it will now come down to can Blue Whites continue to stack these dragons, right? Getting that dragon by itself doesn't mean a huge amount, but if you consider it as a stepping stone towards potentially the soul, then we can start talking about it being worth the trade. But on paper, it's not too bad for NORD here.
Yeah, I actually totally didn't notice when I said that, but Hunt was up in the top lane just taking towers, but 6 scrubs Tristana is going to be able to do that really, really effectively. Question is now are NORD going to put their attention on to this Rift Herald? Now remember, Rift Herald, especially when you got those 6 grubs, you get so many little grublings that spawn up when you charge onto the tower if you ride it in, so keep our eyes on NORD and if they're going to play for that. Right now, Yoka is on the other side of the map as XC has switched out into the mid lane, and they're going to put Hunt on the bottom. He is the tower-taking machine for his team. Kraken Slayer Zeal in his pocket. Should be feeling pretty comfortable over there.
Yeah, this is it. This is the plan now. Just stick Hunt in these side lanes, pick out these outer turrets, and it's just so difficult to respond to. You can see, like, Blue Whites have completely sacrificed the bot side jungle right now. Like, Romeo, Joker, they're both in the bot jungle too. Hunt's going to get that bot tower for free as well. And this is it. So we're going to get the Herald taken as a response. You know, now, you know, Blue Whites want the top side instead. And, well, I don't know, Hunt is still pushing. There's 4 people down here. Veluxa could be in trouble.
Yeah, he did get the Bellows Breath down, though, to make sure he doesn't get caught out by that Deadly Flourish. And Hunt takes the tower. Hunt is going to get himself another tower taken down, or at least a lot of damage on that tower. But no one is here to respect the mid side. Herald's been summoned. Herald's going to take that mid tower nice and easy. NORD do not have the members in the position to be able to defend this one. As Hunt, getting himself a little bit of danger, is able to survive as... There's a Brand inside there. He might just be dead. 4 shot hits. Deadly Flourish goes a little bit wide now. On the bottom side of the fight, we are seeing Poop getting himself caught in there. Hunt putting a whole bunch of damage down. Able to secure one. MKR's putting some serious damage out, though. Slides back in. Secures himself the kill. Quest under fire. Reposition comes in. There's the flash. The bullet time from Custom. Hunt's able to make a break for it as Ecstasy's now keeping the pressure up with the rest of his team. Yoku gets the knockback. 4th shot comes through, and Ecstasy secures himself another kill. NORD walk away the ultimate victors there.
That was a wild team fight with Blue Whites getting caught, pincered from bot side and from mid lane right there. They didn't really know what to do. They were fighting 2 different fights right there. And as a result, it just completely faltered for them. MKR did pick up a kill, but he jumped in and lost his shutdown over to Hunt, which is not ideal, giving the enemy Tristana some kills, who now herself has a big bounty as well. So that could be problematic here for Blue Whites as we move on. But Nile is being caught. Doesn't have his ultimate. Should just go down here.
Can he survive it? There was a teleport on Hunt. I actually think he may have been able to come in time. Quest making his way over, but Nile bought so much time. Trades out 1 for 1, but that was 1 versus 3. The cost of this will be mid tower taking a whole heap of damage, if not falling. Bot tower potentially going down. Yoka stealing away jungle camps left, right, and center. A lot invested for not a lot of gain there from Blue Whites.
Yeah, a 1 for 1 when you've given 3 people over to the play definitely is not worth it. Not great. And a great response though from NORD, able to pick up that mid turret, work all the way through the bot side jungle, as you say, and this bot tower is not... I think that died as well, right? I think they got the bot tower.
Yeah, they got the bot tower.
It's just... Yeah, it's just tragic here for Blue Whites. They're really starting to fall apart right here. NORD are pulling them around the map. Blue Whites do not have any good answers right here. Nile just doing Nile things, being that raid boss, being that huge source of pressure on the map, forcing the opponents to answer into them, and there is no good answer right now, as I don't think the Twisted Violet... Well, it's going through. Here we go.
That's a big equalizer into the curtain call as well. Poop got a whole bunch of damage onto him. Hunt has found himself caught out. The bullet time comes through, but it's cancelled immediately. 2 members of Blue Whites go down here to NORD, and NORD can now collapse in and secure themselves their first dragon of the game with Quest down.
This Misfortune mid hasn't had too many good things going for her this game, has it? I'm still a little bit curious, to be honest. I was curious in the draft and watching the gameplay. I'm still curious what the benefit is of Misfortune mid specifically. As a first pick, blind pick as well. It's been tough for her. She's not been able to create too much pressure. She did get solo killed, and yeah, she's just not strong right now. And even in these team fights, it's not working. I think potentially the idea is that there's some level of a wombo combo between Brand, Misfortune, and Rel. Maybe Ornn in there as well, if you want to set that up for the engage. But it's just not paid out just yet. Though it is something that we can maybe look at moving forward.
I feel like it was a flex pick, which they didn't even prepare as a flex pick in their head. I think they always knew they could play it, but I think the game plan was actually to send it bot lane with a Rel. And then they realized that giving Nautilus Kai'Sa over might be really rough. So they decided to deny the Kai'Sa and then kind of tied their hands. I think the original intention was to put someone like a Yone mid lane. That's my thoughts on it. I know people are starting to try and answer more of this like Tristana Corki mid meta with ADs, but I just feel like Lucian is a better answer. Like if you want a mid lane AD,
Gosh,
Lucian probably would have been able to fulfill the role for custom way more effectively than a Misfortune does.
I mean, even just Kai'Sa. Just put the Kai'Sa mid lane.
Yeah.
Like, Kai'Sa mid actually is kind of a thing, unlike Misfortune. But I don't know. It's tricky to say because Tristana is just such a strong champion in the meta right now. Like, it is hard to answer it, and potentially Misfortune, in theory, is a decent answer for this right here. Maybe with the double ups, you know, get some good poke onto Tristana and whatnot, and you can kind of just stop her from setting up in the lane with all that harass. Maybe in theory there's some potential there, but obviously in this game at least, whatever it is, it's not worked. You can see that 4,000 gold gap in between the mid laners right here. That is the significant problem right now for NORD, for Blue Whites. Is it's essentially a 4v5 right here. Because they don't really have the strength for their mid. As that is a big punch of damage right there. Romeo's jumped in. Here comes the fight.
Curtain has been called as well. They do have that Ornn Horn. Veluxia is going to try and play interrupt, but he mistimes it. Double kill goes over to Hunt. And Baron is just going to be secured here for NORD. I felt like this game was maybe a little bit closer than it should have been, these two teams going toe-to-toe. I do think Ecstasy and Romeo maybe got caught and maybe disrespected Blue White's bot lane a little bit too much, but ultimately the team who have proven to be so crisp in their macro and consistently one of the top teams in the league are really showing up right now as Custom may find themselves in a wee bit of danger. Nearly does spot them out, but looks like they're not going to be able to find much more than that.
Booper now is in a bit of a tough spot. He himself as well coming in here. This is his first game playing alongside Blue Whites. It was a good little lane phase they had down bot side with MKR and Pooper. It was very good in fact, but coming out of lane it's all looked a little bit tough. Not too much happening here for the Blue Whites bot side, as the map is just not theirs. It just frankly isn't, you know, like the pressure that Hunt and Nile compared to Custom and Veluxa have put out this game has made it incredibly difficult to do much of anything. These team fights aren't working either. It's a very difficult game, and now with this Baron buff coming through, you just play it tutorial style. Blue Whites do not have an answer.
They do not, sadly. Blue Whites got their first win of the split last season. Started this game off very strong as well, but it does feel unfortunately for them. The rest of the season may end how it's gone for the majority, is Yoka throwing down. Twisted advance will catch onto Veluxia. Custom able to avoid it, but he does get himself caught out by the hook. There's the equalizer. Deadly Flourish goes a little bit wide. It looks like that might just be all she wrote for now.
Yeah, still pushes Blue Whites off at the tower, so that one goes down, extending the gold lead here for NORD. Dragon is spawning in about a minute's time. This will be only the second Dragon for NORD. I don't really think they care too much about Dragon, to be perfectly honest, in this game. Like, I don't think, you know, for NORD, if this game goes long enough that the Dragons are relevant for them, then they've done something wrong. You know, they're looking to close this game out way before the Dragons become a thing. Certainly before Elder Dragon would come down, or Soul, for example. Blue White, so trying to show a bit of sign of life. Looking for the picks. Not happening this time around, unfortunately for them. As NORD just keep the pressure going.
Oh, actually, there's a jump in onto Ecstasy on the mid lane versus MKR. Not sure how that fight's breaking out, but it looks like they're going to be able to survive from that one. MKR full all in there, trying to avoid himself from getting caught out by the ultimate. Going to be able to get anything. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I see he had to burn both summoner spells. 8 a W, and I think MKR just ulted straight into his face.
Nile, is he going to fall down here? I mean, we've seen this before. He's almost overheated as well.
He's got the equalizer back up and available. He's able to make his way out. And Hunt just takes top tower for this. It just feels like Blue Whites are just being pulled around the map now. Pooh Bear trying to see if he can collapse in onto Hunt. Hunt able to press the W in time just to break away before he gets caught out by the stun. They're keeping the pressure up, and now Hunt feeling quite comfortable, gets caught inside the bullet time. Buster shots them back. The Ignite is on him, and Hunt's still making a break for it. MKR is still being chased from his fight versus Ecstasy. Ecstasy's able to secure the mid tower. It's just crumbling for Blue Whites right now.
That was a great little buster shot there from Hunt, though, with knocking Poopet into Custom to interrupt the bullet time. That was great.
Yeah, really
Otherwise,
nice.
he could have been in a bit of trouble there. May have had to bonus flash. 700 gold bounty, 4 items compared to 1.5. Bruh. That is all I can say about that, mate. What? That is 25 minutes, by the way.
I'm a fan of it, of AP mid Misfortune. I know it's not going to get played professional, but I do love it. It's very unfun to play into, and it's very fun to play. AD Misfortune, you know what? I think I'm going to keep him bot lane. I think that's where I'm going to keep that pick. Not particularly sold, unfortunately. And Custom, I genuinely think, has been one of the shining stars of Blue Whites. So it's very sad to see, but you know, this is a pretty rough game for them here.
Just a little bit. I think that's somewhat of a, maybe not the most dramatic way to describe this one. A bit of not underselling it a tad there. Blue Whites tomorrow will be going up against Verdant in their last game of the split.
I'm gonna be real. I actually think they can win that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's maybe this game isn't theirs. Maybe this one's not going to end too well, but to really cap off their split, there's a decent chance they can do that, you know. As far as Blue Whites may have struggled in this one, and to be honest, you know, for most of the split against Verdant there's certainly an opportunity. Verdant themselves have been struggling a little bit as well. And we saw, honestly, I know this game is like incredibly one-sided, but when you look at the goal differences, it is just Hunt and Costum. Like, that is the story of this game. And you know, they're trying something new here with the Misfortune mid. It's not working, and that's unfortunate. But you know, there was a lot of good stuff still for Blue Whites.
There is a 7,000 gold difference between the mids.
Yeah, it's
bad.
I mean, at least
it's
Costum
bad.
has 2 items now.
True.
Something.
Hunt has 4.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a slight difference in the game. Yeah, we're going to get this forced engage though. Jin's in trouble.
They just get the shutdown as well. MKR secures that kill. It actually looks like NORD are a little bit cut off. MKR on the equalizer loses half his HP, but in comes Yoka with the lockdown. The flash over the wall. Romeo tries to find the hook, can't find the opening. A triple kill to MKR, but Hunt's in the base. Romeo just has to play nuisance here, and he might be able to stop it. The bullet time is absolutely huge though. I think Blue Whites just got themselves back in the game.
Well, we'll see about that. Here comes Hunt.
Teleport coming down. They're going to get MKR. That's 1 kill for him. Hunt gets the reset, jumps away to safety. Customs chasing it, and he's got the slowdown. Customs going low. Custom just about to find. Double kill over to Hunt. 1,000 gold in the pocket of Poop. No! Not the one you did get in the gold.
Unfortunate shutdown for Pooper there. That's not great. But it was a good opportunity. Blue Whites, they never go down without a fight, and they found the flank from the rail right there, caught Ecstasy out of position, and they rolled with it from there. Unfortunately, MKR was chunked from the beginning of that fight in the process of killing Ecstasy, Nile, and Joker, and so he didn't really have like any regen to get back up, and so when Hunt came in, he just instantly fell. I mean, Romeo, I think, actually killed him with an Ignite. Tough little situation there. NORD, yes, they lose the fight. Yes, they lose the Nash. But the shutdown, you know, going over to Rel is perfect for them. And Hunt was able to break down yet another tower and inhibitor in this bot side.
Oh, man. A 1,000 gold lead between the supports now.
Yeah.
You never know. That locket might make the difference. You have a quick pause, though. As
We do.
yeah, wow.
We
Blue
do.
Whites kind of just got themselves back in the game a little bit with that one. They got the Baron, they got some kills. They defended the base, the bullet time actually being pretty big for that. There's
I
a world.
think it's really important. It's important to take Nash off of the map as well. Like,
Yeah.
if NORD get Nash and all 3 lanes are, you know, like obliterated, you can't defend against that. You can't defend against Nash, you know, with just your Nexus and its Nexus turrets. So I do think, you know, maybe the big win out of this play isn't so much what Blue Whites are able to get themselves, it's what they denied from NORD
It also
in
just
that big
the
purple
stall.
worm.
It's the
Exactly,
time
yeah.
it can buy for them is really, really big, because off the back of having all that extra time now, you know, they can get some gold onto this Misfortune. Is only 2 items, and you know, once you get like a Sorelda's Grudge and stuff on the Misfortune, the damage will spike off the back of that.
What is she getting next? That could be a collector. It
gonna
looks like
assume it's a
those
collector.
components. Yeah, I mean, she needs a lot, doesn't she? Really, to be honest, I don't think it matters too much. It could be like a LDR as well. The Lord Doms.
I mean, Yun Tao is also a very cheap
Armor pen.
item if you just want like quick power spikes. And I
To
always,
be honest,
I always
well,
forget it's an
yeah.
item. But
Yeah, you only really see it on like poke. Like I think Caitlyn is a big one that I see it on sometimes.
yeah, Twitch.
But yeah, it's not as popular as some other crit items. So
Yeah,
we'll have
it's
to
cheap.
see.
I mean, they've got
Well,
the
there's
Noon
the Noon
Quiver. That's part of the build. What else builds into Noon Quiver?
I think Kraken, but no. not
No,
anymore,
Kraken
right?
doesn't
They changed
anymore.
it.
Actually,
Yeah.
Shield Bow might.
Okay, that could be interesting.
I think Shield Bow.
Yeah.
I mean, Shield Bow doesn't give any lifesteal anymore.
No, but she's got the lifesteal.
Yeah.
It's either Lord Doms, Yuntao, or Shieldbow. That's what it is. So
Wait,
I
Lord
think out of
Doms
the 3,
Is Lord Dom's Quiver? Oh, it is.
yeah,
Oh, it's a Lord
it
Doms
is
then. It's a Lord
nowadays.
Doms.
Yeah.
That does mean they won't go Sharodas for the I guess they got Crystal Scepter on Quest, so if they're all grouped, there's enough slows already there.
That's the idea, right? They have, and between Rel and like an Ornn ulti, you'd hope the bullet time doesn't need to like, you know, slow people and keep it in it. There are enough tools to make that happen regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, third dragon now coming up here. That means it's still only literally the third dragon for NORD. So Blue White's just trying to buy some time. They're not doing too bad in that sense. I know when you look at the gold difference, you look at what Hunt's able to do. Right, there's 5k gold lead between the two teams, 8,000 gold lead between Tristana and Misfortune. So if you don't equate that, I mean, obviously you need to count for that, but still, across the board, Blue Whites aren't actually that weak compared to their opponents. This might be a little bit risky here, though, from Pooper trying to look for that flank. Has to be careful. But basically, if you can neutralize Hunt, you're in a pretty good spot right here. If you're Blue Whites, and you might be able to just stall out.
That's probably what they're going to be looking to do, although Hunt not letting them get close enough to be able to do so. Meanwhile, throw down the lockdown, the route. Equalizer comes out. Deadly Flourish was a little bit too early there, so nobody gets caught out, but the Magnet Storm does hit. XSC flashes away immediately, trying to get himself caught out. There's the ultimate coming out from Custom. Instantly going to get cancelled out, and Poopet gets themselves taken down. There's the curtain call. Veluxia just going to eat this one for his team, and that may just be the game, the base getting opened up here for NORD, because with your engage dead, with the Ornhorn down, NORD are able to take every one of the inhibitors. They took a tower with just the minions, and now Hunt able to open up onto the tower. Romeo gets himself a hook. MKR's just trying to buy some space as Veluxia, she's doing a lot. MKR's damage is huge. He slides in onto the back line. They're getting some damage done. Hunt very low. Quest is just trying to finish him up, but he's unable to do so. The burn is there. They catch the W here from MKR, and Blue White, they're very much in this still. A double kill was picked up for their ADC. MKR's keeping the pressure up. He resets that W once again as Nile eats W after W. The equalizer goes wide. He dodges. He flashes over the harpoon. Stopwatch is used. They get the Deadly Flourish. They get the slow from the bullet time. And now Ecstasy will look for Custom, but he will pay with his life. Blue Whites are still in the game.
Somehow they keep pulling it out, and it's off the back of MKR here on that Kai'Sa yet again. Unfortunately for Blue Whites, though, their base is in tatters. They lost both Nexus turrets in that exchange. And you have to feel next time around they won't be given the opportunity to win a team fight if they just get rushed down on their Nexus. Yes, they're able to stall, but the margins for error now are becoming slimmer and slimmer. Nash is respawning here as well. If NORD are able to pick this one up, Blue Whites are going to be in a lot of trouble. But if Blue Whites try and contest, NORD can maybe even look for the back door. Rock and a hard place right here for Blue Whites. This next 2-3 minutes will decide the game.
MKR is popping off right now. An absolutely stellar performance from them. 11-2 on this Kai'Sa. They just need to finish up the Zephyr. They bought a pot as well. So they know this next fight could potentially decide the game. Remember that blue pot? It's going to give them a bunch of true damage to the towers as well. So towers won't last long versus this full build Kai'Sa anymore.
Oh, yeah. MKR. When's the last time he even looked at a tower, mate? That wasn't his own Nexus turrets.
Oh, they're going in. Veluxia's made his way over. Bubet's going to eat himself a little
Here
bit
he
of that.
comes. Here's the back door.
Oh no, the back door's coming in. Custom needs to get the reset, but the curtain call's huge. There's a teleport. Who's going to make it? Are they going to make it is the question. Hunt has to go 1 versus Veluxia, but Veluxia can't do anything. He's just focusing the tower. He jumps over the
he whiffs
horn.
it.
Hunt has done it. Veluxia's damage is not enough. A backdoor from Hunt saves the day.
It is that rock, that hard place again for Blue Whites. They tried to hang on. They tried their best. And there are a few shining spots there against NORD. And to be honest, they should have lost that game like 10-15 minutes ago. Yeah. So credit to them for that. But at the end of the day, it is another win for NORD. They played it out pretty well, to be honest, as well. I think, you know, not too much to criticize for NORD specifically. More just Blue White's credit about how scrappy they are and how they just won't go down without a fight.
Absolutely. Honestly, MKR, that was an amazing game from them.
He's
really
great.
excited to see more
I love
from
him.
We're going to throw ourselves to a quick break, and then we'll let the analysts break this down a little bit more, so we'll see you in a moment.
Break it down. Step on the gas, let's get out of town. We gonna break out and have some fun. We gonna do what you never done. Oh yeah. Come on, take your body with you. Bring some money with